Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is, your expat friend in China, John. And today we're going to be talking about the different types of education jobs here in China and talk about what to expect when you're working at those jobs in terms of the salary, the workload, and the things that you may, come across when you're doing these type of jobs. So let's dive in, and I won't waste any time. So the first one I'm going to talk about are going to be the training centers or education centers. And in China, they usually call them training centers. Basically, it's just an after school tutoring place. So like usually you'll have kindergarten age kids most of the time and primary school for the most part. So usually you're going to have kids like 2 years old to about 7 or 8 years old coming to these training centers. Usually it's going to be after school and on the weekends. So most of the time, this job, you'll be off on like Monday and Tuesday, and you'll work like Wednesday through Sunday. And during the week, usually you won't work much. You might work at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon to like start preparing for the classes. And then the kids will start coming at like 6 p.m. or something like that. And you usually work till like 9 or 10 p.m. And then on the weekend, it's usually an all day thing. You might work from like 8 in the morning till 9 or 10 p.m., something like that. And you'll have the lunch break in the middle. When it comes to the training center jobs, okay, usually the classes are small, usually 15 students or less. Most of the time it's like 8 to 10. I've done this kind of job part-time, but not full-time. But I just did it to earn some extra money on the weekend. But these jobs usually don't have a high salary if you do them full-time. And there's some downsides to this job too, because usually during the holidays, like all the Chinese holidays, when all the schools are out, that's when you're not on holiday. That's when you are the busiest. So you don't really have a lot of holiday time when you're working in these training centers, and the salary is usually less. So that's something to consider. But the class sizes are small. The workloads can be a lot. I've seen some that have like 25 or 28 classes per week, which is a lot. And but you do have an assistant to help you like with the class while you're actually teaching the class. So you have 2 teachers, a small group of kids. It can be pretty good to to teach those kind of classes, but not my favorite type of work to do. The next one is going to be kindergartens. Okay, when it comes to the kindergarten, you're going to have students age usually like 2.5 years old to 6 years old. So basically you'll have 2.5 and 3 year olds in one class, and then the next class you'll have like 3 and 4, and then 4 and 5, 5 and 6, right? So you'll have different, like they won't be mixed. It'll all be the same age in one class. So one class will be 2 and 3 year olds, another class 3, 4s, like that. Now, when it comes to the kindergartens, usually the classes are a little smaller. Like you'll usually have, from my experience, about 30 or less. Usually like 25, 28, maybe 30. But usually not more than 30. And when it comes to the kindergarten classes, there's usually 4 teachers in one class. So it'd be yourself, and then there'll be like a Chinese teacher who's kind of the head of the class or in charge of the class. And then there'll be an assistant teacher who is a Chinese teacher as well. But her job is usually to assist you or assist the head Chinese teacher. And then there'll be what they call in Chinese an ayi, or a nanny. And basically her job is to care for the children, like to feed the kids, help the kids go to the bathroom and things like that, and help the kids change the clothes and all this kind of stuff, right? That's the job of the nanny or IE. But usually during the class time, when you're giving a lesson, all the teachers will be there together to watch and to like help manage the class and things like that. So it's pretty easy as far as the classroom management goes. And as far as the time goes, Monday to Friday, off on the weekends. A normal work day like 8 to 5 or something like that. You have like 2 hours for lunch because the kids sleep. On top of that, usually the lessons are usually like 30 minutes long because they're little kids. They can't hold attention for a long time. And you might do 1 or 2 lessons per day. And then the rest of the day is just spent interacting with the kids. Like when the Chinese teacher is giving her lesson, you might also be there to watch and stand by and make sure the kids are being well behaved, and you just interact and play with the kids and have fun with them. That's basically all you need to do. And the salary is usually quite high. You can usually expect about 20 to 35,000 per month, depending on which kindergarten and which city you're working in. So it's a pretty rewarding job, and it's actually probably my favorite job when it comes to teaching in China. So after that, you're gonna have like your primary school and middle school, which I'll put these together because a lot of the schools, they are together. Like primary and middle school will be all together in one school. Sometimes they're separate, sometimes they're together, but basically these are going to be students aged from 7, starting at grade 1, up to grade 9, which are going to be about 14 years old. So you have a big range of students that you might need to teach, which they'll be all together. Like 7-year-olds will be with 7-year-olds, and so on and so forth. When it comes to this type of job, this one can be tricky. Usually you're going to have anywhere from 30 up to 60 kids per class. So you can have a lot of children in one class. And usually for these type of jobs, you are by yourself in the class. It's only you, one person, to manage the class. And if you have 60 students and they're not well behaved, things can go bad really fast. So, you really have to be on top of your classroom management. I wouldn't really suggest this to a new teacher who doesn't have any classroom management skills, because it can get tough. They'll eat you alive. And on top of that, there's also a lot of other work involved. Like you'll have a lot of paperwork, like lesson planning and grading papers and all this kind of stuff. And then lots of other activities you need to join in. And then on top of that, you'll have a lot of classes per week, usually 25 classes for most schools. Their contracts will be for 25 classes per week, which can be a lot of classes. Each class is usually 45 minutes long, something like that. So, you spend a lot of time in the classroom and you don't really have much time to prepare, especially if you have many different classes. So if you teach like 5 or 6 different grades, like grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's a lot of stuff to prepare and very little time to prepare it. So a lot of time you'll be spending time at home and your own personal time to prepare the work for the school. So, and this one again for the salary, most jobs, they're going to be in the same range as the kindergarten, like 20 to 35,000, depending on, again, the quality of the school and the city that the school is located in. So all these things are going to be a factor when it comes to your salary. So then after that, you're going to have the high school, which is going to be basically 15 years old to, till they graduate, like 17 or 18. So it's grade 10, 11, 12. For this group, I would say it's better than the primary school and the middle school, because the students are usually older now and more mature. So if they're not gonna like study well or pay attention, they'll at least like usually sit and be quiet and not disrupt the class. So the classroom management can become easier again. And then on top of that, you're gonna be one person in the class again. And again, can be large classes, 60 students, something like that. So you'll be a lot of students in one class. Again, a lot of classes and a lot of paperwork. So you really have a lot of work to do, but for, the salary is not any different, right? So that's kind of the downfall of that. But you do have more like well-behaved students. So it can be more enjoyable because you can actually have some conversations with these students and, in English, and you can communicate with them and have a normal conversation with some students as compared to, some other type of grade levels. Now, the last one is going to be your university. Now, for the university jobs, this is actually, I've always found this really strange, but for the university jobs, the salary is much, much less. I see a lot of university jobs for like 6,000 renminbi per month, up to maybe 10 or 15,000 depending on the school and the city, but they're usually not very high paying jobs. And also the workload is very low. You don't have a lot of work to do. A lot of the universities, they have like 10 to 15 classes per week. So 10 to 15 working hours per week. And you're not required to stay in the office most of the time, which means you can just do your class and go home. You don't have to be stuck at work. So you can literally just go to work 10 or 15 hours per week, and the rest of the time is yours. It's free. Again, this one, again, for the classes, you can have some larger classes, but it's just more I would say more in a way of a more relaxed atmosphere. You can actually have conversations and talk to the students, and you're gonna have some who really want to learn and they'll really try hard. And there's others who, you know, they're just there just because they think it's an easy class and they don't need to do good or something like that. And so you'll have those kind of people, but it's easy to manage the class because they're not going to be disruptive or something like that. So it could be a pretty good thing, especially if you don't need a lot of money, you know, because you'll have a lot more free time to earn money or just have free time to relax. So, you know, if you're an older person who's getting a pension or something from home or something like that, and you don't really have to care about making a big salary, university is good because you have a lot of free time. That's basically all the different types of teaching jobs and what you can expect from those jobs as far as payment and kind of how the workload goes. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, hit the like, hit subscribe, and watch some more videos. See you next time.